between the ticking of the clock and the beating of the heart, there lies a silence, soft yet sharp. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Let me begin with a simple yet unsettling question. When was the last time you truly listened to silence? And I don't just mean the absence of chatter or the moment when the fan hums and no one speaks, but real silence. The profound yet sacred space where the noise of the world dies down and the sound of you and only you begins. We live in an era where silence is rare, and even rarer is comfort with it. The world is loud, and sometimes it feels as if it is louder than it can ever be. Notifications chime like church bells at dawn. Opinions scream from glowing rectangles, and we are sprinting on a treadmill of thoughts, trying to outspace our own anxieties. Every second, something demands our attention. An email, a reel of someone else's highlight reel. We're told to keep moving, to keep grinding, to hustle, optimize, maximize. But in all this movement, what have we minimized? Reflection, stillness, peace. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes, not just as a gesture, but as a door closing to the world around you for a moment. Can you hear it? That tiny voice inside of you. The one that doesn't panic, the one that doesn't scream, the one that doesn't shout, but the one that wonders, the one that dreams, the one that speaks when the constant thoughts about the world just die down. As a child, I used to lie down and stare at the stars. They seemed to me as tiny glowing mysteries, and I asked myself questions which never really had any answers. Questions like, what if clouds could talk? What if dreams were actual places we could visit in our sleep? Or what color is silence? As children, we are born poets. But somewhere along the way, all these questions fade with time. Not because they're answered, but because we stop asking. They're buried under pressure, exams, bills, degrees, and questions like, what will people say? Is this even practical? The ironical part is that we are taught how to build careers, but not how to build inner clarity. We learn how to impress strangers, but unfortunately we fail to connect with our own selves. And we live in a world where everything talks, but very little is heard. Now, let me tell you a story, a soft parable, about a small village nestled between hills and rivers, where a boy was born with an unusual gift. He could hear things that others couldn't, like the sap rising in trees, the sigh of a tired breeze, and even the footsteps of people's dreams as they tiptoed through minds at night. He told the villagers. They laughed. They talked behind his back, called him mad, or even worse, a daydreamer, a deranged boy. But one day, the forest stopped blooming. The birds stopped singing. The river grew murky and restless. And the villagers, they panicked. They prayed. They sent for help. But the boy, now a little older, just simply walked into the forest. He sat, closed his eyes, and he listened. When he returned, he said that the trees, they are tired. No one listens to them anymore. They give, and all we do is take. But this time, the villagers changed. They cut less, planted more, listened more, and the forest lived again. Now, you may ask me, is this a real story? A myth? A metaphor? I would say yes. It is all of it. most importantly, it is a mirror. Because we are all those villagers exhausting our inner forest without listening. And perhaps we are that little boy too, with the unusual gift of awareness that we have long silenced. Now, let me ask you something a little more deeper. When was the last time you truly listened to yourself without any judgment? And I don't mean your grades, your social media likes, or your resume. The you that exists when there's nothing to perform. The you that stares back when the mirror folds after a shot. The you that is just too tired to pretend. That you, my friend, is not a checklist. That you is not a brand, but that you is poetry. In our desperate race to be someone, we often forget how to just be. We become roles, like the people pleaser, the endlessly smiling optimist, or the achiever. But beneath all those masks, there's a quiet voice whispering, will someone ever see the real me? Let me begin to close with this. Life is not about the loudest applause, the grandest spotlight, or the speed of our success. Sometimes, dear Toastmasters, the most powerful thing that we can do is just pause. Sit with the silence. Let it speak, let it hurt, let it heal, because maybe, just maybe, between the ticking of the clock and the beating of the heart, there lies a silence, soft yet sharp, waiting for us